everyone. For those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Lara, and the focus of my research was the disparity in life expectancy among people with different levels of education, and my thesis was astronomic as well. So just to talk before I move on to the next slide, just to talk a little bit of what exactly that means. So people who earn higher levels of education are shown to have a greater life expectancy than those who earn less education. And this gap in life expectancy is shown to persist even as other variables are controlled, such as socioeconomic factors, as well as income levels. So today I want to discuss a little bit about some of the other variables that can be shown to influence life expectancy, such as how it varies over time, as well as how it can vary with race. Obviously, I'm going to discuss education as well, and talk about some policy suggestions that can give these individuals greater access to educational resources. So to begin, I'm going to give a little bit of a background about how life expectancy has changed within the United States over the past century. So in the early 1900s, a lot of the increases in life expectancy were due to improvements to sanitation and hygiene. And this encompasses everything from, encouraging people to boil their baby bottles before, using them, and to food providers to dictate better care in the way they prepare their food. These improvements were shown to really improve life expectancy, particularly among small children and infants, and reduce the spread of infectious diseases. Another improvement that helped life expectancy was water purification. So half of the improvement in life expectancy in the first half of the 20th century can be attributed to water purification. And this decreased the prevalence of diseases such as malaria and dysentery. As I was researching how life expectancy emerged during this time period, one of the more interesting studies I found focused on the Great Depression. And whenever I went into this, I just assumed that during that time period, life expectancy would get worse due to the fact that a lot of strain that these people were put on during that time period. However, I found it was actually the opposite. And at times of economic expansion, life expectancy actually tends to get worse, whereas during times of economic contraction, life expectancy tends to get better. And researchers tend to attribute this to the fact that during times of economic expansion, people are putting in a lot longer hours. They're under more strenuous conditions. They're sleeping less. They might be picking up worse habits such as smoking or eating worse. So this actually causes life expectancy to actually get worse during those times, which I found surprising. Additionally, during times of economic expansion, there tends to be an increase in auto accidents as well as industrial accidents as well. So those factors were able to offset some of the other things that would influence life expectancy or improve life expectancy during those economic expansions. Additionally, looking at sort of the latter half of the 20th century, cardiovascular diseases decreased as well as infant deaths. So overall, you can see that throughout this time period, life expectancy has improved, and that's been a pretty consistent trend over time. So next, I'd like to look at life expectancy varying by race. And as I mentioned, if you look at this period from 1990 to 2008, there is consistent improvement across all 6 of these categories for individuals at age 25. You can also see broken down for male and females that females tend to live longer than males. And looking at race, so you can see I only have 3 racial categories here. And I noticed that a significant number of my studies mostly only focused on the Black and white populations. There were some that also focused on the Hispanic as well. But I noticed there was really a void of studies that looked at other minority groups. So I think this is definitely an area that would require future research in the future. So by looking at it by race, though, you can see the highest life expectancy is shown by Hispanics, followed by non-Hispanic whites and non-Hispanic blacks. So to go to a little bit of why that is. So the Hispanic population within the United States has been increasing in the past few decades. In 1980, this was at 6.5%, and in 2014, this increased up to 17.5%. And a lot of this increase in this population has been due to immigration. And there's something that researchers call the healthy immigrant effect. So essentially, those who immigrate to the United States are shown to have better health habits. This is everything from less smoking, lower levels of obesity, that just tend to be healthier overall. However, this effect somewhat wears off over time. And that's in the perspective of as these people become more assimilated to the United States. And also their predecessors, their children and their grandchildren, don't experience this healthy immigrant effect as they are citizens of the US. Additionally, there's also a decrease in Hispanic immigration in recent years. So with those 2 factors combined, this advantage that the Hispanic population has in terms of life expectancy has the potential to decrease in future years. And so next brings us to life expectancy varying by education. So what you can see on the x-axis, a variety of educational groups ranging from less than 12 years up to the PhD level. In this case, the reference group was used as someone who earned their high school diploma. So that would be like our hazard ratio, which you see on the y-axis of 1. And you can see that the groups that have a higher hazard ratio, so a greater mortality risk, are those with less than 12 years, those who earned grade 12, who finished grade 12 but didn't receive their diploma, and those who earned their PhD. So they all have hazard ratios greater than 1, whereas you can see the categories ranging from some college all the way up to PhD all have hazard ratios less than 1. So there's a pretty apparent trend. You can see that as there is less education, there's a greater risk in terms of mortality and a reduced life expectancy. So what exactly can we do about this to provide people with greater access to educational resources? At first, I wanted to focus these suggestions on the younger demographic, largely because a lot of educational resources that people have available to them are contingent on their performance in like middle and high school, for example, and have more access to resources during those younger years. Additionally, based on a lot of my research, I would suggest focusing on low-income and rural school districts because they tend to have fewer resources, and there's also some overlap between these groups as well. And in terms of how we can help these younger students in these schools, it's providing them with informational resources. So for example, someone who attends a rural school might not be able to go and, their school district may not be able to have campus representatives visit and talk to them about programs that colleges will offer because they're so far away from where a lot of universities are. Or those low-income school districts might not be able to afford to bus their students over to local campuses to go tour and learn more about their college options. So I would recommend finding more, for the government to fund more so that these school districts have the ability to provide these resources. Another recommendation is that we expand the faculty available at these school districts to these students. Guidance counselors are very much overworked, and it's hard for them to provide so many students with all of their, informing them with all of their opportunities for college education. So I think definitely those faculty resources need to be expanded. And lastly, another point that I would make is that I've talked a great deal about how high school and college education can influence life expectancy. But there were a few studies that also did address trade school and vocational training, and that this trend where life expectancy is greater for those with more education persists even for those who have vocational or trade school. So I think we need to make students more aware of the fact that they don't have to just have an option of going to college or else just entering the workforce right after graduation. The fact that there are other ways that they can expand their education while not having to attend college, because college isn't for everyone. And one thing I would like to press upon you as I conclude my policy suggestions is that this in no way is to say that if we all attend college for the rest of our lives, we can live forever, because that's certainly not the case. However, this is a concerning trend, though, that those who have more education are expected to live longer. And it is a concern, I think an ethical concern, that we close this gap and provide individuals with that, especially those who don't have the resources to access greater education, provide them with these resources so they can choose to earn more education. And this can benefit them in a variety of ways. Perhaps there's not a direct way to just live forever, for example, but in order to live healthier lives and more productive for themselves and do better for themselves overall. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.